Hey everyone, welcome back to the stream, welcome to the channel, welcome to another video. Welcome. If it's your first time here, thanks for joining us. If it's not your first time here, welcome back. So, as you can see by the little thing going up here, that we're going to be working on the Su-57, so let's get into it. Alright, so where are we? Well, I'm here. I don't know where you are, but I'm here. Yes, so last time we were doing landing gear bay doors. No, actually, that's a mistake. We were doing weapons bay doors. That's what we did last time. We finished up on those. That's these guys here. Finished on those. Those are done. And as you can see, I've got some nice colorful things going on here. I spent a good couple of days putting the decals on this guy. Flip him over and that's what we got. We've got decals, or decals if you're in the United States. We call them decals here up in Canada. But yeah, so that's what we got going on so far. And we're almost done. We're almost done, guys. Looking at this book and what's left in the instructions, there's not a heck of a lot left to do on this, which is why I went and put the decals on the other day, just to get it all done, so that, well, so that it's done, right? Yeah. Oh, thank you, Deception Man. You're welcome back too. So we have engines to put in, and we've got tail fins to put on, and all that good stuff. I took the liberty of putting one of the engines in there already, as you can see there. In fact, let me change the camera up so you can see overhead here a little bit better. So here we go. Boom. Here we are. Okay. So, as I said, we got one engine going in there. And so we got another one to put in, this guy here, and they just kind of drop in there. Now it's a really tight fit. See how this is not flush? This, not only does this have to be flush, it's got to actually be pushed in just a little bit, otherwise your nozzle won't line up. It won't push in all the way. So there's that little tiny lip just on this edge here. You need to have that be able to go in, right? So not only does this, see, this is really super tight and it doesn't want to go in. Oops, I just knocked my afterburner ring loose. Did I not glue that in? I thought I glued that in. Well, it's getting glued in now. You're getting glued in there now, boy. Okay, so although there's a little ridge that goes all the way around this, there's no notch or anything that tells you, hey, this way is up. There's also a notch on the inside here, on the top. There's nothing on the bottom part, okay? There's nothing in there on the bottom, okay? It's only on the top. But that seems to be what stops this thing from pushing in where you really need it to be. Okay, I had a heck of a time. I literally took this nozzle and pushed it in, just literally put my weight down on it to get it to push in where I needed it to be. So I'm going to try that again on this side. Now if I'm doing something wrong here, I don't know. But she will not go. So rather than trying to force it, I'm going to do some custom carving, and I'm going to carve some of this notch off. The other side, I didn't bother carving it like this on the other side because I couldn't get it back out. I had put glue on there thinking that's how it goes and that's the way it's supposed to be. But then when I went to test fit the nozzle, it wouldn't line up. So I used a bunch of brute force, and yeah. Let me see something. I don't have my chat up here. There we go. So what this is going to do is going to force me to put this in a certain way. That's okay. At least it's going to go. All right. Let's get this back here. So with this kind of at the top there. See, now you're going to go in for me. Well, I didn't want that. That's just great. It's gone inside now. Oh, why, oh, why, oh, why. Of course, trying to grab this to pull it out is going to be a nightmare. Almost. I could just glue it like that. That's what I'm going to do. Okay, so we got her glued in there. So that's the way they are there. Nicely glued in, and that'll line up perfectly. This is just my test guy. I'm not actually using this nozzle. This is the in-flight version. I went with the crooked plane is landed version. That's the ones I'm going with on this guy. Okay. In fact, we can put those on now. So, I want to keep in mind where the actual top is so I get these lined up proper. Unfortunately, there's a little mark where where it was held onto the sprue. So that helps, I suppose. Use up the last of my glue here out of this jar. And that literally was the last of it. Good thing I got another one. I'm not quite happy putting glue on the nozzle itself. I want to kind of put some on the plane. Alright. Line up our little mark at the very top. There we go. Just like that, there's one. Let's determine which one. This guy, where are you here? You also have a nice little mark, so you're going to line up nicely for me, just like so. Alright, both nozzles are on. I will make note where this lines up here. There's a little tiny bit of a ridge, maybe about half a millimeter, if that. You can feel it, but there isn't really on this side. This side's nice and flush, this is nice and flush, but this side is not, so I've made it flush up on this side, but this side's just a hair too big. It doesn't quite line up. It's not noticeable to look at, but you do feel it with your fingers, right? So there's that. Okay, so nozzle's finally on, just like that. Okay. Okay. Let's put the tweezers back. Move this here and here. Okay. Next, with the engine's nozzles installed, we can go with the elevators. So that would be these guys here. Thank you for taking off, airplanes. Gives a little authenticity. Right now that we've got engines, you can hear the engines in the background. So this guy here is going to go on just like that. There is kind of a little bit of a notch that you can feel when you get it in that sweet spot. There suddenly it's like, doink, I'm going to sit perfect right there. Just like that. Okay. So just like that. It should stay. No. If I put enough glue on, it should stay on its own. Just hold it for a moment here. Let the glue set. And I'm going to have to hold it a little longer. So while I'm holding this, I will make mention and talk about the decals. This kit comes with some pretty big decals with a lot of decal film on them. They're huge. Okay, these decals that go on the wings and everything all across the top, they're enormous decals. Now, one thing to Zvezda's credit is they go down very nicely, but they are a little bit thick. Okay, can I let go? Yay, okay. The decals are a little bit thick, okay? It doesn't want to hold. Damn it. Okay, let's try this again. yeah, they are a little bit thick, and so I used a lot of the Tamiya Mark Fit Strong, and I was a little bit worried that it would wrinkle them a little too much, and there were a few spots that I had to poke with a knife to get the air bubbles out, but for the most part they all laid down pretty flat, if not perfect. They're not perfect, I'll say that. There's just a lot to them. They're huge decals, right? I would like to put a piece of tape on that. Let's see if I can get away with that. Okay. Just in case it wants to fall again, I'm hoping the tape will hold it. Just in case. Alright, so we have the other one. That's going to go on this side. Same deal, just like that. Keeping an eye on that to make sure it's staying put. Okay. And we're holding this until it wants to set. So for the most part, this glue dries fast enough that you can let go of it pretty quick. But I guess because of the weight of the wing, it just didn't want to hold. So let's do this. Got another piece of tape. Damn it. There. Let the tape do the job for me. Okay, we have our tail fins. The tail fins, though, I am not going to glue on. They're just going to go on here like this, and I'm just going to leave them loose. And that will allow me to play with them however I like. Right? So what have we got? We've got our forward, what do they call them? Canards, I believe they call them. These two guys here. Okay. Glue holding? Yes, it is. Or should I say tape holding? The tape is holding. Okay. So, do have to be mindful of where I'm putting my fingers under here, because it is possible to bend our little weapons bay doors. So these guys, they literally go in just like that. You basically find that sweet spot, and there you go. just like that. There we go. There's one. It's unfortunate that they give you the option of having these straight or down. It would be cool if they gave you the same option on the actual leading edge of the wing, if this was a separate piece that you could put down in the downward position also. That would be a nice little feature to have, or to have an option to do that. Okay, and there's the other side. Looks like I don't quite have it lined up. Need to grab my other glue. Okay. Those are the canards. They're done. So what's next? We got a couple of clear pieces to put in on the cockpit here. We need D5 and D6. Okay. On the D, gotta find the D. Found the D pretty quick. 5 and 6. This is 5, that's 6. Okay. Another thing I've noticed with the clear parts on this kit, something I've noticed with these plastic model kits, the clear pieces, the plastic is clearly, to pardon the pun, a different type of plastic that I've noticed seems to be almost a little bit brittle compared to the rest of the kit. But not in this case. The clear plastic on this is soft in comparison to every other clear plastic I've encountered in a model kit. That is something I was not expecting. Okay, so this goes like this, and then this one attaches to it. But which direction do you go, George? so it seems to sit like this. Okay. Where's my tweezers? I had them. Probably hiding on me. Yep. Okay. This does seem to have a top and a bottom. Same with this guy. This guy almost didn't want to join his friend. That's the way they show them joining in the picture. Like that. So they can stay joined just like that. All right. And then when they want me to put F33 on top of them, F, let's find the F and tree. Where is that? F33, this tiny little piece right here. This little guy, he's got a little slot on the bottom of him. I'm gonna guess that's where it goes. It lines up on that, on the top. I just dropped it, and I didn't see where it went. Thank you, Lord. All right. So, it almost looks like it's a little hood. There we go. All right. And with that, we can put the front canopy on, which I have over here hiding somewhere. There we go. This guy here. He's going to go on there. But first we need to take some masking tape off, because we've got the front little radar thing that needs to go on there. So I'm just going to pull that back like that. Actually, I'll cut it. There. Chat is talkative as usual. Everybody likes to talk. Not. Okay, so that's going to go on there just like that. So let's put down a little bit of glue on there. I've seen a lot of guys using white glue to put the canopies down, and I'm going to be honest, I don't know why. I don't find, like, if it's something like, hey, it dries clear and it doesn't fog up the clear plastic, well, neither does the Tamiya glue. Right? I've never had Tamiya glue fog up the plastic on me, so I don't see why you need to use that glue. Just use regular Tamiya glue and you'll have no problems. Okay, so we got a little D3 that they want me to put right back here. This little round guy. Okay. Being careful not to drop it. He's going to go down right here, like that. Okay. Can you pick him up? Now he's on the floor. He's not going anywhere now, because I'm pretty sure he's gone. I will try to find him, but I cannot guarantee it. Being a tiny little clear piece. I did find it. Yay. Okay, so let's try this again. I was trying to clean up the little nub on it. It is just a little bit visible once it's actually on the plane. Okay, let's put a little dab of glue down. Here we go. Okay. With that down, that makes this page finished. So let's flip this page. So now we're back in the section of putting on the canards, putting on the back half of the canopy, but I won't be actually gluing this down. That won't be glued down, because as I mentioned before, it doesn't line up properly. Right, so the only option if I was going to glue it would be to glue it open, but I don't like doing that. I like having my canopies just displayed like this, and then when you want to look at the cockpit, you can take it right off and you can get in there and see nice all angles without anything obstructing your view. And so that's what I like to do. So I'm going to leave it like that, just so you don't have to, I don't have to worry about that. Okay, so that being said, we're done with that. Now we're going to do our little radar piece. Okay, so we got E31 and D4. Okay, And so I have E31 already here painted, so he's ready to go. I just need to put the D4 on the front of him, and that's D4 right there, painted silver as per the instructions. Okay. Sure it's nice and clean. Okay. And it's going to go on like that. Okay, so put it there, put a little dab of glue on there. Looks about lined up. Okay, and then it's going to go on the nose here. So just going to check the fit here. Whoops, it wants to stay on the floor. Funny looking Su-57 if I didn't have that radar on the nose. Okay, as I was saying, I want to check the fit, where it's going to sit exactly on here. Okay. I think I got a good idea of where I need to put the glue. There we go. So that's on. All right. Next, I guess I can take the masking tape off the canopy. I keep losing my tweezers. So much for gluing it down. Let's just do this before I get angry. Okay. Tape's off the canopy. Let's reapply the glue. Looks like I've got a glue smudge. That's fan-friggin-tastic. Okay. Managed to save it. Still looking good. As I tell you, if I go and screw this thing up, it's going to wind up in 100 pieces. Okay. Next we have the landing gear, which is already done except for the main wheels. The wheels for the main gear. Got these done. Okay. These are done. They are ready for installation. So let's flip her over. I'm not going to actually rest it on the canopy yet. So here's our main landing gear. Let's test our fit. It just kind of sits in there. Okay. Good enough, I suppose. Alright, throw some glue on it and call it a day, right? I'll put the glue on the gear rather than the wheel. Come on. Okay, there's one. And two. Okay. So now that I have that, I need to let that dry. So let's set up a little stand here for this guy so that I don't have him resting on the canopy. Okay, let's take a look. Again, we've already done the weapon bay doors. Okay, that's done. So that means this whole page is finished. So we flip over to the next page. We've got the we've got the wheels going on, but we need to put on the actual landing gear bay doors on each side. The front landing gear bay doors are done, and we're not doing it closed, so we're not doing that part. And then it's just the missiles, whatever configuration you would like. So let's take a look at our main gear bay doors. I have them already painted and ready to go. So here's one. Okay. And here's the other one. Okay. They're both ready. I don't know which side is which. It's going to be this side here. Okay. So there is a little notch in the middle of the bay right there. Okay. Right there and right here. Okay. And that's for a little shock that opens and closes these guys. And so those are F4. F4 is the door and C40 are the shocks. And they're the last parts on the C trees, and that's why I have them cut out like this. Okay. So that's just these little shocks here. Okay. So there's one. That's it. And two. Okay, there's the other one. And that's it for those. So normally what I like to try and do is, let's see, which side is up on these guys here. Alright, so we have a little flat spot on this, and that's the spot that's the part that's going in there. So what I like to do is kind of just put them in there and a little spot guessing where the angle needs to be, and then put the door in, and then I'll line the door up to touch this, because there's no specific spot. There's no notch, there's no hole, or maybe there is. Is that right? Well, there is a notch. Ooh, careful. There is a notch right there. So yay, that's going to help out a lot for lining these guys up. So first of all, it's hard to grab. Let's grab this. Let's make sure this is going to stay. Some glue on there. Do I have room to use my fingers? That is the big question. Yes. We'll get this to just stand there on its own for a moment while I put some glue on here. I don't know how well it's going to line up on the bottom. Let's see here. Just like that, we've got one door on, and it's lined up good, just like that. I like that. That's good. Okay, so I'm going to rotate this just a little bit. Just a little bit. How about a lot of it? Do this again with this one. My own shadow is in my way, so that's not going to work. This one doesn't want to stand up on its own. This one is not being as nice. Okay, I'm really having problems lining this side up. Stupid. Fine. I think I got it. It's funny, you know, one side goes on just absolutely flawless, the other side not so much. Okay, we're on. I gotta re-glue the nozzle wherever it decided to hide. There we go. This gets to get glued back on now. And of course it was a side that lined up great. I obviously didn't use enough glue. Okay, so there we go. There's those. Those are those. Yes. So I just said that. Those are those. Now the next thing, which is technically the last thing, are the armaments. What kind of missiles are we going to put on there? Well, I definitely want to use the KH-31s. These KH-31P, I think these are, on this particular one. That's these guys. These crazy looking missiles. Yeah, definitely like the look of those. Those are pretty intense. I didn't want to use more of these. I figure he's got 6 of these guys already. These are what, the K-77s? You can put 2 more on the wings if you want, right? You can put more. But I've decided not to use these. There's my other KH-31. So instead, I'm going to put these guys. These are the K-74s. K-74M, I believe. These guys. So I'm going to put these on. And they go on the outsides here. Just like that. And, which I just did off camera for you, sorry. Here, let's try this side. There. They go on the outside of the wings like that. Okay. And then these big honking guys, they get to go on the inner pylons. Like that. Okay. Now, the plane does come with drop tanks also if you want to put these on. These would go on the inside here. I figured, you know what, these are just regular freaking fuel tanks. I don't want to put these on. That doesn't say deadly to me, you know? So, I'm going to put these missiles on now. So we'll start with this guy. Let's put this over here. Always a challenge for me is to make sure they're straight up and down, and that seemed to do pretty good. And then we have this guy next. Nice thing is, You know, it's always a good idea to make sure you've got a nice flat surface on your pylon to mount on the wing so that it stands up automatically for you, just like mine just did. Right, that really helps a lot. Okay, let's turn it around. So I can do the other side. Starting with our big guy. Again, just making sure I'm not purposely putting it closer to the camera, I'm just lining it up to make sure that it's straight up and down. And our final missile. Perfect. Yes, perfect. Okay, I'm just going to leave it like that for a moment. And I need to clean my glasses. Well, we just wait a moment for that to set. So, with the missiles installed, we can flip our page to the very last page of the book, which is where we put on all our decals. We can assemble the ladder if we want to. That's an option there. Give us a little ladder. And of course they point out the little display base, right? The display base if you're going to have this thing displayed in flight. But the base is sold separately, so you don't get to actually have that in the kit. If you decided that you wanted to get it, display it like that, you're either going to be buying your own base or buying this base, whatever. It's just this the way it is. And of course you would have drilled out a notch here, a hole for the base to go into, long time before you assembled this thing. And that's it. That's the last page, guys, which means the build is finished. That is it. Done. It's probably safe to flip her over now. It's much heavier now. I do kind of just want to let it sit for a minute, let this glue nicely set before I start putting gravity working against it. Especially, you know, just freshly installed wheels. I don't really want to do that. Don't want to risk it. So while that's done, I might as well take the tape off of this part of the canopy. Yeah, see, I just knocked that with my finger. Because, you know, I'm trying to make my own day horrible. I do love that about Tamiya tape. It does crisp, clear lines. I never get any bleed through with Tamiya tape. I will say that. It's really fantastic stuff. Okay, let's flip her over. Flip her over. She's done. Done like dinner. Okay, flip. We can take the tape off of these now. Now that that's been, what now, 20 minutes, half an hour since I put these on. So canopy goes on here, and like I said, it doesn't quite line up there. You can see that little, you can just see the shadow behind it there. It doesn't line up. If I really cared about it and I wanted to have this glued on, I would wind up, I'd have to shave off this edge here of the canopy to get it to line up properly, and it just doesn't. So I'm just going to leave it, and that's why I'm not gluing it down. Well, that's another reason why I'm not gluing it down. And we have our tail fins that go on here like this, and one on this side. And we're done. That is the Su-57 finished. Just like that. Now you see that sheen you get as I turn it around. That's the decals, because I haven't put a clear coat over top of the decals yet. Okay, I haven't done that yet. I'm going to do that later. Okay. But this is it, guys. It's finished. You know what I'm going to do for you? Just a sec here. Here we go. There you go. And there you go. There's the Su-57. Can we go faster? Yeah, there we go. Su-57 by Zvezda, 1/48 scale. Complete. In all her Russian glory. So, that's going to be it for tonight, guys. Now that that's finished, it's yeah, it's been fun. I've enjoyed this build. It did go together almost flawlessly. The fit for Zvezda kits, I will say, pretty good. I don't really have anything to complain about as far as how this thing went together and how it all fit. They did a really good job. The detail on the engines, well, they could be a little bit better. There's some lack of detail along these two ridges here, where I've got the blue. 3D or resin nozzles probably would have been a nice upgrade to do. But that's really it. So those and the fit on the canopy is really the only things I would say not that great. Well, the canopy is, it just looks funny unless you're going to have it displayed open, which I don't do. So other than that, it's really good. So I'm going to do a flat clear. Well, actually I'm going to do a semi-gloss clear. These planes are kind of shiny, especially because they're fairly new, right? These aren't old planes, and so to do I don't want to do too much weathered look on it, right? I think I almost did a little too much in these little areas here, because you just don't see that weathering and that aged look yet on these things. They're not like Navy planes where the salt water is attacking them every day. But yeah, that's all I've got left to do. So I'm going to do a semi-gloss clear coat over top of this, and then I'm going to take some pictures and I will upload it to my Instagram. And so you guys get to see some nice nice pictures of this thing from a few different angles. And that's going to be it. Yeah, that's it for this build, guys. Yeah, so I've enjoyed it. It's been nice. So I'll get this done. I'll get it all finished up tonight and get some pictures up. Hopefully I'll get some pictures up tomorrow. We'll see how it goes. Yeah, so with that, I want to thank you guys for watching, and thanks for coming out. And yeah, so if you haven't already, please hit the like button, hit subscribe, check out my links down in the description box there, And you can go over to my Instagram, check out the pictures. You can go to Twitch, and you can follow me on Twitch, and then you can talk to me live, just like Deception Man did here. Ask me questions. I'm always happy and willing to answer questions as I'm going along and talk to you guys. But yeah, so that's going to be it for tonight, guys. And so I guess next is going to be a Gundam build. And so until then, we'll see you all on the next one.